Okay, so this is basically just a brief summary of all the companies. You can tour the companies, see who their best workers are, blah 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 blah. But we're going to go with Dale Martin because that is technically our company. But our popularity in the British Isles, Central England E-. These are basically exam scores, but we'll change those as we book. Our prestige affects who we can attract to come work for us. So a C rating is pretty good actually. So we could probably get some people from America, from Europe, to come over for a couple of dates, which is, I know it sounds a bit gay, but we can attract people over here and then pay them every time that they appear on our show, which is a lot cheaper than writing them a contract. So if we wrote them a contract, say if an ideal situation, if we got, say, Andre the Giant, I would use Andre the Giant as a special attraction. I wouldn't use him as a regular wrestler. I'd use him because of his size, because of his stature, because of his famous name. I would use him less than I would use my regular wrestler. So I'd pay him every time he flew over here to appear on one of my shows. So every time Andre the Giant is billed on the show, people will pay to see him because he's not a regular person, he's not a regular wrestler, he's a spectacle basically. It sounds horrible, it's a bit like a circus mentality, but well, momentum is basically the same thing. It's basically how well we're doing in our little corner of the world. Alliance, joint promotions, I'll tell you about those in a second. We haven't got any pay-per-view deals at the moment because that just doesn't exist in this era. We've got 2 TV shows though. We've got Saturday Sports Time and World of Sport, which is, I believe, both on ITV. So we'll select ourselves as the owner. So this is our first. I hate it how it keeps jumping across the screen. This is our media area, which basically it tells us what's going on in the world of wrestling after every turn or after every day. So we will see here any shows that have been going, and we can double click them and we can see what they booked and how well it went down. We also see headlines, so it's basically like a dirt sheet. It's, you know, if people get hired or fired, we'll find out here. So this is just a welcome. Wrighton Promotions, which is another British federation, a wrestling company, are looking for a booker. So that might be an option if we get sick and tired of Dale Martin, but I don't think we will, considering. Wayne Bridges in the money. That's Wayne Bridges' brief appearance on TV last night as an interviewee for Cashing In financial show. He's said to be the highest paid wrestler in the world on $4,134 a month. That's quite a bit. He must be pretty good, but I'm not paying that kind of money. Andre the Giant, who we were just talking to. That's basically just hyping him up, so it's basically just telling us this could be a future star, and we all know that he is. So, Penny Banner, Wise Fans. A list of most searched for wrestling stars, yeah. That's quite an accomplishment in the 70s before the internet, but never mind. Anyway, we can go to News Archive, the World Diary, which basically tells me who's doing what and when, all the TV shows, all the pay-per-views for every company. Company Wars, which is how we rank against everybody else. So obviously we're not going to be ranked in this bit because this is the entire world and we haven't got world coverage. The MLL is, oh, that's quite surprising actually. That's a Mexican promotion, I believe, which is regional. That's ranked number 1 in the world at the moment. Then you've got the WWF, AWA. Jim Crockett's a lot lower than I thought he would be on number 8, but never mind. Not my problem. Okay, in Europe, isn't anybody. British Isles. Here we are, the British Isles. So we're at the top at the moment. We're the biggest rated. Then we got Brighton, whatever that says, Polish. And we got major blah 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 wrestling, small at the bottom. So we got 3 different people that we're competing against. Well, we're not sort of competing against, we just want to make money. The Power 500, every year everybody gets ranked on everything. So the best wrestler in the world in 1969, which was last year, is Blue Demon. End of year awards, obviously we haven't got the end of year yet, so Hall of Immortals, I think that's people who pass away during our game, so nobody's done that yet, thankfully. But this is our office. We'll go from the top down. So obviously the owner's me. Approval rating doesn't apply because we're not just the booker. If you picked to be the booker, you would have owner goals. So say if we picked somebody else and we worked for Dale Martin as the booker, Dale Martin, well, Jack Martin or Les Martin would, whatever, Jack Dale, I've forgotten who his name is already. Whoops. Jack Dale or Les Martin would be your boss, basically. So if you were doing crap, your approval rating would be awful and you'd be fired and you'd have to find somewhere else. Whereas if your approval rating was great, you could get jobs in bigger places. Our size is regional, which means that we're basically encompassed in the British Isles. Ranking 21st in the world. We've got $1 million, which I think is basically like 500 grand in pounds. Prestige and momentum, obviously, CC. Our next show, Saturday Sports Time in 2 days. So we can have emails, even though it's the 1970s. And this basically, if somebody makes a contract offer on one of my wrestlers, or one of my staff, I will see it here. And if somebody announces retirement or if there's any other problems, I will get an email about it. Same with the decisions. That's contract stuff. I'll explain that when we actually come to it. That's our user profile. That's Jack Dale. This is our current image. So depending on how we play the game, this will move. It will, if somebody screws up, if they show up to a show drunk and we sack them, we'll move up towards Iron Fist and up towards Fear, because that was, I would say that's probably a bad example actually. Showing up to a show drunk would be very, very bad. So let's say somebody got caught with smoking backstage, which is one of our backstage rules, which I'll explain later. If somebody got caught smoking backstage and I find them, we go up here, because that would instill fear and a sense that I'm an iron fist with people. Velvet glove and loyalty is the other way. So if I just sort of said stop smoking, you know what the rules are, blah blah blah, and just took them aside and talked to them, I'd move down this way. But I will go into that later on when we sort of start the real playthrough. And in the next episode, because Bandicam is about to time out, I will tell you all about this bit, which is the complicated bit. Oh dear.